Happy New Year, people. Welcome to 2025. Oh, aye, do you like that? A wee play on words there. But aye, it's the first podcast of the year. How many have made resolutions? What's your plans for the year ahead? How was your Christmas? I know we can get bogged down in all this resolution patter. The gyms get rammed with people that are turning a new leaf. The majority of these people, they probably aim too high, and when they don't reach a certain target, an unachievable target they've probably set themselves, they shut themselves down and put themselves back into the misery that they were in during the festive period. Thing is, man, we'll all be getting into January. The majority is skint. The majority is getting back into the come down. It's like the emotional recession for the festivities. And that's what happens. That's what Christmas is. There's such a build-up for the month of December. You've got work nights out. You've got people drinking on a Tuesday and justifying it. You've got tins of quality streets getting tanned after dinner that usually wouldn't happen. It's good. We're allowed to have a wee release. We've worked hard for this, especially if you get wains. I haven't wains in myself, so I can only understand, or try to understand, the stress and the struggle of providing for some children for the happiest day of the year. Don't know why I said that. Happiest day of the year. Happiest day of the year. Happiest day of the year for them. And obviously you've got some unfortunate people that can't afford to provide their children with Christmas. It's a shame for them. I feel really bad, man. It's, when you look at it, you're reminded quite quickly of a lot of people living in the street, people in war-torn countries. These people aren't getting a Christmas. It's just another day to them. And the thing is as well, we can only do what we can do. There's no point, we don't want to feel guilty about it. Aye, guilty enough where you can maybe implement some action to help, but no guilty enough where you feel depressed about having good things in your life. Be grateful for what you've got, especially like the family and the fact you're starting a new year. And if you're getting into the new year rough, scunnered, depressed, you're feeling down, you're miserable about it, seek out help, man. If you're struggling, if you're one of the people that's binged at the festive periods, and at points you didn't want to do it, but you just felt this obsession, this compulsion, this uncontrollable desire to drink. Did you go out for a pint and end up in some mad random crack then 4 days later, wondering how you got there? If that's the case, get in touch. Been there myself. As I says, a few Christmases ago, my plan was to stay out for Christmas Day to the New Year. I managed to the 29th, go a few days sleep, slept through the bells, and then went back out to the 4th. Didn't have a wash or nothing. That was my Christmas. This Christmas was quite different. I had dinner with my family. I also was able to buy gifts for my family. I was so selfish back in the day where I only started buying gifts for people up to a few years ago, largely because I never had any money, because I was a degenerate drug addict. And I was just a selfish bam pot. That's it. I was just a selfish bam, man. I only really cared about myself. And being able to use the money that I've got to give back, to gift, to give without expectation of receipt. It's a truly joyous thing, and I'm privileged I'm in a position where I've got all my family around me. I've got money where I can give them gifts, and I can return gifts as well. My girlfriend, she spoiled me rotten. Or the woman in my life spoiled me rotten. It's amazing. And I've used plenty of excuses. I've been eating like a horse, man. Oh, what was that? It sounded like my arse. But I've been eating. That way, I train a lot, I work hard, I justify it to myself. I was actually out training today. I was in Edinburgh. My good friend Phil Coppola, if any of Watchmen Supply and Demand, you'll know Phil is the character Frank. He opened up his own gym in Edinburgh Park, and yes, I went through to Edinburgh to train, undercover, you know what I mean, teaching the tutors how to fight, no? But we went through, we done a wee video through Danny Monroe, TLC Weddings. You should check him out, best wedding videographer in the land. And I think I done like a 3-year-old workout for this video. I was absolutely famished after it. And I drove back home from Edinburgh and went to Asda to get my dinner, and lo and behold, the Rangers game was coming out, and I was like, it's not too busy, it's alright. And what a mistake that was, because when I came out of Asda, the car park was absolutely rammed, man. You couldn't move. I ended up stuck outside B&M for 10 minutes. My motor just stayed stationary, and I went, you know what, patch this, 3-point turn through traffic into a parking bay, jumped out my motor, locked it, and jogged home. And I'm glad I did, because I'd have been there for a minimum of half an hour because the roads were absolutely rammed. So I got myself up the road, made my luncheon, and went to a wee meeting, and then cycled back to my motor and got it. And it was just been one of the days, you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's been a challenging day. I don't like to say it's been a bad day, it's been a challenging day, because a challenging day suggests there's growth to be benefited from it. But getting into the new year, I wanted to create something for yourselves. I was listening to a podcast lately, and a lot of podcasts I listen to, they're obviously doing the kind of new year changeover and all that kind of stuff. They're looking back in retrospect. And I wanted to do something where I created just wee pearls of wisdom. You know what I mean? Some lessons for life. A lot of these I've implemented in my own life, and I just thought I'd share. This isn't gospel. This isn't a textbook answer to your problems. It's just some lessons I live my life by. They might benefit you, they might not. But shut up so I can tell you, right? So the first lesson is, right, get into the new year, get started. You know what that means? Whatever you're procrastinating about, whether it's the gym, whether it's a passion project, whether it's leaving your job to go and do something you love, the hardest thing about getting started is getting started. Because the longer you leave it, the more you talk yourself out it. You'll put yourself off it. Trust me, I've done it and I continue to do it. See if it's productivity, it's the problem. An effective method I've discovered lately, right, is the 5-minute method. Sit down for 5 minutes and work on whatever it is, homework, university work, a song, a podcast, whatever your chosen desire is. 5 minutes, right, a night, and sit down and go, I'm going to dedicate 5 minutes to this. Think of 5 minutes. You waste 5 minutes, you wasteful, lazy so-and-sos. But 5 minutes, right, and sit down and go, all right, I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes and do it. I done that the other night with a script I've been working on. I've been procrastinating on this script for ages. And I watched the Kneecap movie for the first time, and I really liked it. And when I watched that, it gave me the impetus to go, you know what? I'm going to get ahead on with that script, because I've got a lot of confidence in the script, and a lot of the stories, it's like a comedy thing, but it's kind of a comedy / serious type thing. It's like kind of shame. I'm not telling you now, try and get some funding, unless you want to give me money to go and make it. But it's been one of the things, I've been so busy, I've been dabbling with it here and there. But I sat down after watching the Kneecap movie, and I've done, usually I've been writing 30 pages. It's a series thing, so 30 pages an episode. I've done 14 pages, I heavy blasted it out, and I got a right good idea, right, how am I going to finish this series? Because I was on the last episode, but I didn't actually know it until I sat down to write it. And I had so many things on where I didn't get a chance to sit back down with it. And it was the other night, I says to myself, right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this. I really couldn't be bothered. I wanted to go to my bed, right? I said, right, 5 minutes, and see the 5 minute rule? It's literally 5 minutes. Although, if you feel you want to dedicate a bit more time and you feel you're in the flow of things, keep it going. Like I did, I sat down for 5 minutes and I left it after 3 hours. 3 hours I spent on it, but I finished the script. And the thing is about the 5 minute rule, right? I would always get bogged down with the expectation that, right, if I need to sit down, I need to dedicate an hour, 2 hours, whatever to this. And the thing with that is, you end up putting yourself off it, because you go, oh, well, I've only an hour, but I need to do this, and 2 hours and that, and you end up putting yourself off it, right? The 5 minute rule can last 5 minutes, and that way you've done something, you've kept the momentum swinging, you could sit down, it might be half an hour. That way it's like, before I would feel as if I need to sit down for at least an hour's minimum to actually get the justification to what I'm doing here. And it's not the case, because then you feel as if I've got nothing done, you end up sitting on your phone that. But if I say 5 minutes and say it's 5 minutes later and I'm like, right, you know what, that's all I've really got tonight. That's fine. You're no feeling guilty about it, and you're no putting yourself off it because you've no got X amount of time. Trust me, it really works wonders. So I suggest the 5 minute rule, but get started. And that's the thing as well. See, your excuses, they're as useful as a fucking pie flavoured toilet roll. You know what I'm talking about? Could be many analogies you could use there, right? But they're no benefiting you, anybody else, for that matter. And see, somebody like me, I can see through them. Don't get me wrong, excuses that come from the brain take many shapes and forms. Trust me, I was a bullshitter once in my life. Number 2, progress over perfection. So don't be looking at yourself after doing one gym session and been going like that, right, I'm blowing at my hole. Look at the sizes, I'm fat. I managed a kilometre before I got a stitch on the treadmill, and that was just walking. At least she turned up. We get bogged into these Instagram models, and social media is terrible for it. See people on social media, and it's always non-achievers. It's people that are doing nothing with their life that have got the most to say. See, if anybody criticise you for pursuing anything in an attempt to better yourself, they're always doing nothing with their life. Just look at them. See, anybody that is doing something that they love, pursuing a passion that they enjoy, they will never be criticising you for attempting to do the same, because they know how it feels. So look at yourself. Day after day, progress. I made it to the gym 3 times this week. I went to an AA meeting twice this week, whatever it is. Give yourself a pat in the back. And I don't know if it's a culture thing or a human thing. It's almost sinful to congratulate yourself. And I'm not saying start shooting yourself off, but just go like, you know what, I've worked hard. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. It feels difficult today, but just sit and have a bit of self-reflection. And it goes back to this thing, getting started. You're not going to be a master overnight. Anybody that tries to tell you otherwise is fooling you. And let's be real here. We all want to walk into the things we love and be amazing at them right away. I want to go into a boxing gym and be that guy that goes spars his first time and knocks somebody out. You know what I mean? I want to be the most impressive person with the least effort involved. I think we all want to be like that. We don't really appreciate the hard work that goes in to becoming masters of our crafts. But see, even if you went in and you had half the talent that got you above a certain level very quickly, that's probably one of the worst things that could happen to you. That is like a gambler winning their first bet, because it sets you up this false sense of security. You suddenly think, oh, well, I'm this much better. I don't need to learn this half as much as they do. And it's nonsense. It's probably more beneficial to have absolutely no talent in a certain area, because you've, one, not got this massive ego, plus you're willing to learn. The learning process is frustrating. It's annoying. There's going to feel at times like you're just not getting it. The thoughts are going to come in going like that. Maybe this isn't for you, mate. What am I doing wasting my time? Oh, they would slag me for this little state of me. They're natural. Everybody's got them. The only indicator that you should be doing what you're doing is the fact there's something in you that wants to do it. Correct all the negative self chitter. Just think, have I got a pull towards this? Does something keep bringing me back? And if it does, keep going back to it. Trust me, I don't know how people may view me and what I do, I'm a lot further than I was when I started. See, when I started, I knew nothing. And that thing with the talent, people say you're talented and that kind of thing, only gets you so far. You know what I'm talking about? So don't let it go to your head. And if you're talented and you work hard, the world is your oyster. So progress over perfection, right? Right, number 3 is simplify the battle. Right, see the battle? It isn't in the gym. It isn't outside when it's raining. It isn't your missus is moaning because you're always going out the house. It isn't the motor's broke down. It isn't you've not got enough money to get the bus. It isn't none of that. It's your attitude. It's all in here. Because see if you start self-pitying and going, oh, why does this always happen to me? Oh, I can't get a break. You'll stay stuck. What I know, it's like glue. It's like quicksand. You just sink into it and you'll not get out it. See if you get presented with a difficulty, and you will, regardless. Whether you don't have any passion in your life, whether you refuse to pursue passion, whatever you do, you will have difficulty. If you locked yourself in the house and never left it and didn't interact with humankind, do you think you would never get any difficulties? I mean, come on. Self-explanatory, innit? The best thing you can do is accept you're going to be presented with challenges and difficulties. See this easy life pattern. It's an illusion. Personally, I think it's a marketing ploy. When brands are selling their products, they're always aimed towards making life easier. Buy your product, it makes life easier. See, the thing is, there are things that alleviate certain stresses in life. For instance, my stress in life is waiting for the bus, because the bus is late. I stay in Scotland, it's freezing and cold. Sometimes I miss the bus and it's done. In the cold weather, I get in the bus, there's people mad with it, the bus is mobbed, it doesn't turn up. A lot of stresses associated with that. What would alleviate my stresses of using public transport is if I get a car. But once you get a car, that provides stresses of its own. You need to pay insurance, you need to get petrol, the cost, running costs, insurance, traffic, people on the road driving like fannies. The thing is, you don't get to choose whether you have problems or no. That isn't a choice, it's up to you or anybody on this planet. You only get to choose which problems you get to have. So pick something worth suffering for. The antidote to procrastination is action. And the poison are excuses. Give yourself long enough, you'll talk yourself out of anything. See the minute you see a problem and you think, how can I learn from this? And it's hard. But once you flip that switch, go right, how can I work this out? Because we're problem solvers, it's in our DNA. There's a reason why human beings have lasted this length of time. Didn't date by accident, it wasn't luck. Because we were presented with many, many problems that have evolved over the years and we've conquered them. So it's in your DNA to solve problems. So just look within, you're capable. Number 4, don't beat yourself up. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to make mistakes, right? You're a human being. You're not perfect. You're listening. Nobody is perfect in this world. You might look at people, we'll go back to the Instagram model analogy, like Cristiano Ronaldo. He looks perfect, he's got all the money. He's got the body, he's got everything. He seems to have it all. He's made mistakes in his life. We've all made mistakes. See, and they tell you never made any mistakes, they're full of shit. And they've not learned anything. You don't learn off your successes. Successes are great for building confidence. But mistakes are great for building experience. And this goes back to the mindset thing where if you look at a mistake you make, and listen, remember, this is all stuff I've implemented in my own life. It's a daily practice. So I'm speaking from my own perspective when I have these thoughts, feelings and emotions where I say, why is this always going wrong for me? Oh, this and that always happens to me. Oh. And then, see the minute I can go, right, what can I learn for this? suddenly it becomes a different experience altogether. By the way, remember, nothing's easy. These are lessons for life, no lessons to make life easier. These are lessons in order to grow yourself into the best version of yourself. But the thing is, you go to the gym, you're going to get tired. When you go to work, you're going to drop a tool, you're going to make a mess or something. Can't make an omelette without cracking a few eggs. We've all heard that, haven't we? So remember, the path to success is lined with failure. True failure is giving up. If you never give up, you'll never fail. And be grateful. There is failures in a different format. When I say in my context of failure is giving up. Mistakes, failures, they're all part of life. We've failed. Look at when you were a child, you were a baby, and you were crawling. Probably don't remember it because your prefrontal cortex wasn't fully formed, but we're aware of babies that crawl. How does a baby start walking? Does it just stand up and walk for the rest of its life? Or does it stand up, try to walk, falls into its arse, and then gets back up and tries again till it eventually walks? The Wayne doesn't get up, try to walk for, and then stop trying to walk. It recognises that it must get back up again and keep walking until it develops the strength, the sturdiness and the balance in order to walk. So you've already overcame failure. And apologies if anybody's watching this that's been born with a paralysed or paraplegic that might be like, oh, wait a minute here. Please understand the scenario and the analogy I'm trying to use here. Number 5. The power of no. Right, you've heard of Eckhart Tolle and the power of now. This is Hawaii 5-0 and the power of no. Learn to say no to things. Because if people can't trust your no, they won't trust your yes. Don't people please. It is difficult, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. You're no rude because somebody's asked you to do something or asked you for something and you've said no. If somebody asks you to do something for them or in any type of service or whatever, somebody requests you to do something with the expectation that you say yes and get offended when you say no, then they are the one that's selfish. Unless you're in work and your boss asks you to do your job and you say, well, no, I don't want to do it. But understand, if you're not comfortable doing something, you don't want to do it, no will empower you. And the thing is, I don't know what it is we get caught up in this thing we know. But it seems rude to say no, you want to say aye, because I think we all want to be liked for the most part. We say aye because we want to be liked, we want to be accepted. I'll say aye. But the thing is, what you're avoiding is momentary discomfort for prolonged suffering, because you said aye to something you don't really want to do. And once you've said aye, you're committed. And it's much worse saying aye to something than saying no further down the line, or not committing yourself because you were never committed in the first place. That will cause you more issues than saying no in the first instance. And if somebody asks you to do something you don't want to do it, and you tell them no, and they take a grievance against you for that, sounds like their problem, not yours. So just say no. Number 6, be useful. No matter what vacation you pursue, no matter what job you're in, no matter what aspect of life you're orientating towards, you've always got something that you can offer. Don't think your opinion is worthless. Don't think your question's stupid. Your input is valued, and don't let anybody else make you feel otherwise. You're here for a reason. You've got just as much worth as the person next to you and the person the other side of them. We're all equal. Don't let accolades, bank statements, positions of power, none of that means nothing. You've always got something to offer. Never underestimate the power of a good deed. A good deed will travel miles. Because the thing is, we're aware of the ripple effect, right? And when we think of the ripple effect, we always think of it in a negative connotation. Like the ripple effect, if I go out and stab somebody, the ripple effect is that person's harmed, they're probably traumatised, but also their family need to deal with that. And you're dealing with that trauma as well. Then my family gets affected because I go to the jail, and then the courts are affected because they need to look into this case, and then if it goes to trial, there's jury. So it's a ripple effect. There's so many people affected of one act. That works equally for an act of kindness. You see, if you do a good deed for somebody, whatever it can be, and the good deed is in the context of doing something, a selfless deed, not doing something because you're getting a score for it or getting paid for it, doing something out of the goodness of your heart without any expectation of any reward or return. Know these people that do my nothing, that sit down with the homeless people with their phone like that. You're down out to the homeless guys, just got my McD's, yeah. And you're like, ah, mate, get a grip and get that phone away from him, man. I hope you get robbed. I hope you get robbed, man. I'd rather watch that video. These people are just shameful, man. No, I mean, it's all about the likes, and let's be real here. It's not really about you want to raise awareness. If you want to raise awareness, good. There's better ways to do it than sticking a camera in somebody's face that doesn't want it. And it's mainly about you. Let's be real here. So, a selfish good deed. If you give a homeless person in the street some money, take 5 minutes to talk to them. You're not going to get charged for your time, you know what I mean? You're not going to get... Just because you talk to somebody in the street doesn't mean you need to go and sleep in the bag with them. Say, how you doing, mate? What's going on with you? They'll appreciate that. They'll feel seen. They'll feel valued. Trust me, see when you stop and talk to a homeless person in the street, you see the way people look at them. It's quite disgusting how some members of the public view them. And that's just looking at it from an outside perspective. Because imagine if you're on the street for the most part, if you need to go to the street to get money and sit there, whether you're homeless or no, your life clearly isn't in a very good position. So, a couple of minutes of your day will cost you nothing but your time. As I say, 5 minutes is your 5 minute rule. It'll go a long way. And plus as well, it can translate to anything. Just be useful. If your missus is in bed and the Wayne wakes up, get up. I'll do this one then. That's fulfilling your duties, of course, as a parent, but doing the dishes, stuff like that, just using yourself productively. Trust me, in your relationships, your self-esteem, all these things will improve. Off the back of the most simplest of stuff. So, in myself, as I say, I've been very selfish in the past. I am by no means the most selfless person. I'm not a saint. Let's be real here. It's great to have acts of selflessness, but self-care is fundamental. So, that'll take us on to my next point, right? Rule number 7. Value your worth. Don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. So, don't get this confused with being useful, because there's a difference between being useful and being used, right? Some people will see that you're a helper, you want to assist people, and they will ask you for your assistance because your family will develop trust in you. They'll see you as somebody they can rely on, which is great. Having a position of trust in your family and whatever dynamic you're in, if it's at work or whatever, you're seen as that person, right? I can trust them, I can ask them to do something. But be wary of some people that sees it as some kind of, as a softness, or people that try and kind of just use you. And you will be aware of it if you've got the same person asking you to do stuff time and time again, and it's stuff that's really out of question. Don't get me wrong, if it's your granny asking you to go to the shops, right, it's clearly understandable she's not using you. She just values the fact you can go to the shop, and you will. But I'm sure you're clever enough to notice if you're being used. So know your worth. And a massive thing with that is, when I go back to the being selfless, right, there's a difference between self-care and selfishness. And what that means is, if you really need some time to yourself, which we all do, I do more than anybody. People talk about introverts, extroverts, I'm both. What people do see, we talk about your social battery. Some people are social butterflies, where if they're in groups of people talking, they feel charged up. And there's instances when I'm in groups or if I'm giving talks to a room full of people or performing on a stage, I do get a charge. But there is moments where I just need to chill. I just need to not have any expectation to have conversations with people. I just need to be in my own space, and whether that might be just sitting in my house scrolling on my phone, watching some documentary on YouTube, just something where I can just chill and recharge the batteries and reflect. It's needed. The difference where that crosses over into selfishness, like if you need a night out with the boys, or you've got plans with the boys or whatever, and Mrs. Ashy, or do you want to go and do something, you're like, right, I've already got plans with the boys and that kind of thing. That's no selfish. But if your missus is asking you every weekend to go and do something, and you'd rather go out with the guys, and you patch her every weekend, that's where it crosses into selfishness, right? So it's that thing as well, being there, being present for other people. That leads us into our next lesson. Lesson 8, be present. Because the present is a gift. Sorry. So, the thing is with being present, right? See, being here and now. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I mentioned it earlier. You should really check that out. It's really powerful. See, when you practice it, and don't get me wrong, you do need to be in the future or in the past at times, because we learn from the past. The future, we plan for the future. But don't get lost in the past or the future. Stay in the present. The amount of times I'll be like, right, I need to have this conversation with this person. But last time I tried to have this conversation, they said this. So they'll say this time, and then I'll say this, and then he'll say that, and then I'll thought in it. I've not even left the house, and I've had this argument in my head. Right? And I go and have this conversation, and all these preconceived notions and ideas of how I thought it was going to go didn't happen. Right? I parked outside and didn't put money in the meter for my motor. I'm going to go out, there's got to be a ticket in that motor, but it'll be 60 quid down, but if I see that traffic warden, I'll wait till the end, all that. Go outside, there's no ticket in the motor. See, and think of all the emotions, the anxiety, the stress, all that, there's something that didn't happen. Bring yourself back into the present moment. What is happening right now? Nothing. I'm just sitting here. There's no ticket in my motor, I just parked there. Calm. In the past, we can be guilty of looking at, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And we all do that, especially if you're an adult. Maybe if you're a teenager watching this, you've maybe not done that yet. But me, for instance, I'll look back at certain things I'll say, the way I used to behave, and I'll cringe at it. And that's a good sign. That's a sign of growth. That's a sign that I'm not that person anymore. And the past will shape our experiences, our thoughts, our behaviours in the present moment. But don't be overpowered by your past, where you're panic, oh, I can't believe I've done that, oh, I hate myself, and you hate yourself. It's like, past the past. Be present. Be here. Be now. Lesson 9. Exercise and meditation. I meditate every single day, and I exercise probably about 4 or 5 times a week. My life would not be the same without it. And you don't need to do it to the level I do it. See, if you meditate for 5 to 10 minutes per day, and you exercise about 3 times a week, moderate to high intensity, your life will be transformed beyond recognition. Your mindset, your approach to difficulty, your stress management levels, your overall health. Trust me, you don't need to meditate for long, 5-10 minutes. Do it in the morning, it will set you up for your day. Now, if you want to push it a wee bit further, start adopting cold water therapy into it. I understand that it can be difficult for a lot of people that can't handle the cold, that's fine. I do a cold bath every morning. And it is difficult. Even this morning I got up, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this, man. But it goes back to the first lesson. Get started. Just get in the bath. When you're going to the gym, what is the hardest thing about going to the gym? Going to the gym. It's gone. Once you're there, you're like, right, I'm here. Once I'm in that bath, all I need to worry about is that small 1 second window where I need to make the decision to jump from one side of the bath into the other. Once I'm in the bath, I'm here. I'm committed. And once you're there, you're like, it wasn't that bad. In your head will make anything seem like Mount Everest. And then once you jump in for the mace time, it'll be Conic Hill. Know what I mean? But see, with the exercise and meditation side of things, it really just helps balance you out. And there's multiple different variations of meditations. One's to wake you up, one's to help you sleep, there's one's to help with anxiety, stress, whatever. There's a great app called Headspace. I think it's like 10 a month you can get, and they do guided meditations. But you could also just go on YouTube and type in 10-minute guided meditation in the morning. Type in what you're looking for, and it'll pop up. And now, if I was to sit and meditate right now, I would get the benefits. I would get immediate benefits for meditating, because I'm in the practice of doing it. So don't meditate once and be like, I felt nothing there. For the most part, it might relax you if you do it right, but it's a practice. Give it a week, try it in a space of a week. And the exercise, like, you don't need to be going in and blowing your hole every workout. Maybe one moderate intensity, one high intensity, and one kind of low intensity, a wee jog or something. You know what I mean? So I used to get in that way as if I had to go into the gym every session and kill myself, and it's just no conducive. But I do like going in and performing at a high intensity. It's just a mental thing. I enjoy training hard in the gym. I really enjoy it. It helps me deal with stress. I can be quite a stressful person. But with the cold water, I do Wim Hof breathing. You should try that, look into that if you've never heard it before. And then exercising, the CRA3, man. Pardon me. What I also do in the morning is a journal. I used to do it ages ago where I would write what I'd done the day before and that kind of thing. And then I stopped writing that because it would take me too long trying to remember what I'd done the day before. So I write 3 things I'm grateful for, and I write my goals for the day. What I used to write in my goals was like goals for a week. I would try and write everything, like so many goals and all that, and then I wouldn't complete them all and I'd feel as if I'd failed, even though I'd completed some. And that's it, just make it achievable. And see, once you tick all the things I've got, wow, man. It really gives you kind of a vision for that day. And if you've got like a passion like I have, well, you've got some long-term goal you want to work towards, these short-term goals help build towards it. It really gives you a life direction, but the journaling, Matthew McConaughey talks a lot about journaling, and I realise the importance of it because I'm going to write a book one day about my life, right? When I'm older, of course, because I've got a lot of life left to live, and I want to be able to remember these moments because we think we're going to remember all the wee details, but we mostly forget because usually you do forget a lot of memories and your brain fills in the gaps. So I want to just make sure I've got the gaps there, I've got the sand to fill the gaps in. And number 10, I've mentioned it once or twice, but I'm going to go into detail. Practice gratitude. Be grateful for everything you have in your life. Be grateful for the hard times. Be grateful for the good times. Be grateful for the good people in your life. Be grateful for the bad people in your life. The thing is, I heard a quote saying, people in your life are either here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And if you look back at certain people who've been in your life, you probably get people that have been in your life day one, probably had people that have been in your life for a wee period, some good, some bad. You've always got something you can learn from the experiences. And I'm not trying to justify any horrific experiences that have happened to people, but the worst of experience can strengthen you. Let it empower you. Don't feel the victim anymore. And there's probably people who's watching this like, I've been through some stuff. That's understandable and it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. But don't destroy yourself with it. Maybe a horrific thing did happen to you. But letting that have power over you continues to destroy you for every day furthermore. If you decide one day, you know what, I have power over this, it might take a lot of work, a lot of self-work, a lot of inner work, therapy, whatever it is, do it. Because you'll come out the side a stronger person, more resilient, bulletproof, emotionally. So be grateful for what you've got. Don't look at the have-nots, look at the haves. When we're on social media, we can get caught up in all that, I wish I had that, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Look at what you've got. Because somebody's looking at what you've got, thinking, I wish I had that. Wish I had what they got. The thing we take for granted are the things that other people dream about. Like, we've got more than kings had 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Look at the way we live. The richest person in history 100 years ago didn't live the way the poorest person lives today. See, if you says to somebody 100 years ago, I'm going to have a device that can contact anybody in the world, and it's empowered by a satellite in space. I can take photographs on it, can take videos on it, moving images myself. I can make films on this. There is no end of benefits. I can tell the time on it. I can calculate sums on it. No end of benefits what I can do with this device. They would have thought you were raving mad. Nations would have went to war or one of these 100 years ago. Most days, the majority of people have got one of these in their pockets. You know what I mean? Does it come with stresses? Aye. But the stresses 100 years ago, I know who having this might have outweighed it a bit. So as you're understanding, right, it's natural to have stresses. It's natural to be anxious. It's natural to be unhappy. But what you need to practice is being grateful for the stresses you've got. I'm glad I've got the stresses of having to pay rent on a house. I'm glad I've got the stresses of having to pay heating bills, lecky bills, Wi-Fi bills, car insurance, car finance. I'm a finance bro. People might look at me and think, I drive a Corsa. People might look at me and think I'm turning up in a Beamer or a Merc. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't waste it. I'm the least materialistic person ever in terms of clothes and that. You've probably seen me wear this about 40 times. My mum brought us this back for Turkey. You know what I mean? This is as fake as the day is long and I love it. I would pay for a real one of these. I'm grateful for everything I've got. And see if I've not got it, I probably don't need it. And see if I want it and I've not got it, then I can work to get it. Simple as that. See if you want anything in this life, put in the work for it. And see if you're looking at anybody jealous of what they've got, appreciate the work they've put into it. Everybody's worked for something in this life. And see if something's handed to somebody, they're not going to hold on to it long. Because we need to learn to earn. So, with that, I hope 2025 is filled with love, peace, prosperity and wealth. But I also hope it's filled with stresses, worries, and all the in-between that makes us grateful for the things we've got, and it strengthens us into the best versions of ourselves. And these versions of ourselves are now out here. They're in here and in here. So find it. It's a process. But it's progress over perfection. That could have been so dreamy and poetic if I didn't stumble that. I'm not going to edit that out because it's authentic. Mistakes, Way! Tell you, mate, I love this stuff. But anyway, I hope you've taken some wisdom for this and you can implement this into your life for the better. If you do, let me know. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and enjoy what 2025 has to bring. Like, subscribe, and don't get wide. Catches!